Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. Welcome back for another attempt here at Starship flight number 10 today. We're kicking it off here. We're getting ready to go. Just as I push the go live button, SpaceX has now pushed the launch time another 14 minutes into the window here. So originally we were targeting 6:30 Central Time or 7:30 Eastern Time, and now they're targeting 6:44 Central Time or 7:44 Eastern Time. So we got about an hour and 8-ish minutes to go before launch time here. Of course, that could change still. Today's big discussion's probably going to be on weather. Weather is not looking great. They were only 55% go. We had some storms in the area, and so things were not looking great on the weather front. But hopefully it holds out. We just need a little hole that we can get the rocket through, and things will be great. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, continuing on. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming back. And we'll go through what the mission is today and what's going on with SpaceX and the Starship flight number 10, what the objectives are. It's going to sound very similar to what our objectives were the last 3 times, because we're pretty much just kind of trying this again for the 3rd time with the same objectives, almost the same objectives. There's some slight differences, but nothing too crazy. So anyways, that's what we got going on here in an hour and 6 minutes. So we should have had the fueling pole. Now, that's the big question. It's kind of what I was waiting on. I was like, do we start the live? Do we not start the live? Because, you know, we were at the point where I was like, well, we should have a go for propellant loading. But I suspect, of course, they made that announcement like literally like 4 seconds after I pushed the start button for the intro. So we're here and we're gonna hang out. Hopefully we get that fueling pole here. Should be happening like any moment, and then ship fueling will actually begin at T-minus 53 minutes. So right now they're actually not fueling the ship at all, just kind of hanging out. That's what always gets me nervous about starting the stream a little bit too early. Not that I don't like to see you guys, but, well, I can't see you. You can see me. But not that I don't like to hang out, but, you know, I usually try, if we're going to do a live stream, I want to really make sure that we're going to give it the old college try for the launch today. We'll see. Anyways, let's check in with everybody and see how things are going. Yeah, Uncle Pie's here with us today. Uncle Pie said, last I'd heard from Marcus House, our good friend Marcus House. Marcus is a great dude. Said they were predicting bad weather, so I presume that maybe it was scrub for today, is what the gist of what he's trying to say. Yeah, it is definitely not great weather. We're 55% go. So we're just over 50-50 shot. Just over a coin flip, barely, about on whether or not the weather's going to hold out today. So not great odds, but not terrible. We've seen worse before, so still could happen. We'll see. Let's check in. Let's see. I'm going through a couple more comments here. There we go. Mike's checking in with us today. Mike was here yesterday. Hi, Tori. Hopefully with the correctly spelled first name today. Nailed it, Mike. Nailed it. You're back. You're back with us. We're happy. Anyways, although it's already 35 minutes past midnight here. Ooh, late one for you. I haven't forgotten for any reason. It's always exciting to be here with you. Well, thanks for coming back and hanging out with us again here. Mike Marco says no scrubs. I was trying to find. We're running into some audio issues before the stream. Shocker. I was trying to find like a sound bite of the No Scrubs song. Just like a 1-second sound bite that I hopefully don't get copyright strike for. But I ran out of time to look for it because I was dealing with the audio issues again today. But I think I have them all sorted out now. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Maxim says, checking in, says he's really excited for today. He wants to light this candle. He was not happy with the scrub yesterday. Framrick, one of our amazing moderators, Framrick. Of course, I see Graham, not to belittle Graham and Anita. I see them here in the chat as well. But Framrick checking in, saying, our mission goals today: achieve SECO and don't spiral out of control in space. Yeah, that would be a plus. That would be that would be great if we could do that. Let's see. T Brookie. T Brookie's feeding us updates here all over the place. I don't know how you're keeping up with this. T Brookie says, got too many screens going on. Fun time. I love it. You got to set yourself a command center. You got everybody going. You get us going. You get SpaceX going. All your other favorites. Whoever else is streaming live. I know, we've got all kinds of friends that are out here. Get them all going. Get a whole command center. Let's see. T Brookie said that they're go for fueling. Did we see a report on that somewhere, T Brookie, that we got an official go for propellant loading? Because I have not seen that yet. But of course, once I start talking to you, I have a hard time following what's going on. So you guys have to keep me updated. I haven't seen an official go for fueling, but not that I'm calling you a liar. I just haven't seen it anywhere. Need sources. All right. So why don't we get into what the mission is here for today? Let's see. Can we switch over? Let's see if this button works. If I go like this. Oh, no. Oh, see, I don't know why that happens. Try again. Push to go. How about, okay. How about this view? That works. How about this? Now it works. Okay. Well, this is where I was trying to go. Gosh. Okay. Anyways, so 10th flight test today. Gonna be pretty exciting. Excitement is always guaranteed with these missions here. Hopefully, the excitement is not in the RUD category, the rapid unscheduled disassembly category, because SpaceX has been in a little bit of a slump in that department recently. Hold on, I need a multi-factor authentication to log into one of my systems. Pause. Bear with me, I'll continue. I can't multi-factor authenticate and talk at the same time. Okay, anyways, carrying on. So SpaceX has, they've been in a little bit of a slump lately because of the last 3 missions have really failed their objectives. So we've tried now. I say we like I'm part of the operation, but that's just what I do. Anyways, they've tried now for 3 flights, flight 7, 8, and 9, to do payload deployment demonstration. Oh, I see the clock is back a little bit further now, actually. Do T0. Yeah, I'm seeing SpaceX just backed up the clock to an hour and 15 minutes. It sounds like they just pushed another 15 minutes here. What does that put our new T0 at? We're now to 6:59 Central or 7:59 Eastern. So let's update our countdown clock like that. Oh, you guys can't even see the countdown clock because I hit it. But hour and 14 minutes now. Anyways, so let's go into what the mission is. We'll catch you up to date just in case you're not in tune with everything going on. So obviously the last 3 flights, 7, 8, and 9, they've tried to do a payload deployment demonstration with some simulated Starlink satellite payload mass simulators. They've been trying to do an in-space engine relight with the Raptor engines. That's basically for them to simulate a deorbit burn.
Deorberate.
So that when they get, not that they're going into orbit this time, but eventually when they get to orbit,
it's going to deorberate.
Right, it's got to deorbit when they get to orbit. So they need to make sure that they can demonstrate that deorbit burn and get themselves out of space under control. Deorbitate. So those are kind of the two big things that they've been really after with Starship. They also, but they've tried to do that on Flight 7. So Flight 7, booster came back, caught by the chopsticks at the launch tower, but had some propellant leaks in the ship, lost control, breakup, no payload deployment. Didn't work out. Flight 8, back in March, booster had a successful descent and landing again. Starship, hardware failure, loss of vehicle. We had another, basically those were kind of the two spectacular failures where we had the raining debris of metal go across the Turks and Caicos, and we got lots of video of it. And, you know, probably wasn't great publicity for SpaceX, but it's a pretty cool looking video, assuming none of the debris came and, you know, towards you. Then we had Flight 9, which was back in May, and Flight 9 was looking better. Booster successfully got the ship into its suborbital trajectory where it drops off the ship, and the booster flipped around, came back. They were doing a steeper angle of attack, like 17-degree angle of attack coming back, and they ruptured some fuel lines inside the vehicle because that steep angle of attack. It was actually basically the stresses from it overloaded the tolerance. And so then when they did the landing burn ignition, 12 of the 13 engines lit up, but they had a propellant leak and basically lasted about 1 second before, and we lost the booster. And then the ship continued on into orbit, and what happened was there was a leak in the nose cone. Then the nose cone overpressurized, but actually the flight computers and the hardware was able to compensate for the leak in the nose cone. So it was pressurizing the nose cone area. The nose cone was trying to vent as well. It's not really a specific nose cone, but the nose area. And got itself into the suborbital trajectory. Then when it came time to do the payload demonstration, the door wouldn't open. And the door wouldn't open because the nose was so pressurized that it was basically like, preventing or buckling the door and preventing it from opening. So then they didn't do they couldn't get the door open. They didn't do the payload deployment. They didn't do the in-space engine relight. They lost control of the vehicle, and then it kind of did an uncontrolled re-entry off course and came back and was destroyed. So that was flight number 9. And then, of course, Ship 36 was supposed to be flight number 10 here, but had a test stand explosion because of a nitrogen COPV failure. That's a composite overwrap pressure vessel, basically just a cylinder basically that's wrapped with composite material that's keeps all that nitrogen contained under super high pressure. And they had an explosion there, destroyed the vehicle. That led to a little further delay. And that now brings us to flight number 10. So, it's a long way to get there. But yeah, flight number 10 now is trying to repeat a bunch of those objectives. So the Super Heavy is now, it's going to do some landing burn experiments, but they're no longer doing that steep angle of attack that they tried to do coming back. They're not going to do it. They're at least not for flight 10 and 11. They may explore that in the future, but they're not going to do that steep angle of attack. They're going to keep it, they're going to go back to their, I think their regular angle of attack. I don't know if they're meeting somewhere in between, but they definitely said they're not doing the steep angle of attack anymore. They are going to do a landing burn experiment, so they're going to intentionally disable one of the 3 center engines on the Super Heavy booster as it comes back. Because right now what they're trying to test, right, they've caught the booster a couple times. And right now what they're trying to test is some of these off-nominal cases for the booster, right? Can the booster survive if one of the engines is out? Can the booster survive if the flight path is a little off? Trying to test some of these different scenarios. So yeah, they're going to test a one engine out landing burn where they intentionally disable one of the engines. And then they want to verify that maybe they could do a backup burn from the inner ring of the Super Heavy booster. They're also going to do this controlled flip. They did this on flight number 9. Let's see if I can get you to this. Nope, you don't want that view. You want this view. You want to see all my stuff. There we go. Why is it saying? I'll see. Now we got it. Hold on. If I go like this. There, we can get rid of that view, that stuff off of there. It's not supposed to show in there. Okay, anyways, so what I was going to do is we're going to show you the... Let's see, how can I do this and get this stuff out of the way? Come over here. Okay, so anyways, they're doing a controlled flip. We talked about this yesterday, so apologies if this is redundant, but for all the new people here, previously when they do this hot staging, right, they're not shutting off the engines of the booster. The booster engines are still under power, ship separates and it continues on, but the booster, because it's still under power when it separates, it gets a little bit of a torque and can kind of go in a random direction, and all the way up until flight 9, all flights 1, 2, 3, everything up to not including 9. When the booster would separate, it would kind of go a certain direction, and they would just let it flip all the way back around to do its boost back burn like this and head back to the launch pad. But that uses a lot of fuel. If it goes all the way around this way, right, use a ton of fuel. So now it's going to separate here, and then it's going to go this way under a controlled direction, shortest path, and use a whole lot less fuel. It's a little more complicated because it's hot staging, and it's under power the whole time. So they're going to do that again. They did that successfully on flight 9, so they're going to do that again today on flight 10 as well. And then we've got the Starship upper stage, again, going to have 8 Starlink mass simulators that they're going to hopefully deploy. Be great if that happens. They hopefully do that in space Raptor relight so they can demonstrate a potential deorbit burn sometime in the future. And then we'll have re-entry stress testing as well. So we've got some missing tiles that they're testing. We've got an actively cooled tile that they're going to be testing. They've got some smoothed and tapered edges that they're testing on the heat shield. They've got catch fittings for when they intend to catch the Starship. They put those on there so they can test the thermal performance, structural performance of those little catch fittings as well. And they've also kind of tuned the re-entry profile for the Starship as well to maximize the stresses on the rear flaps. These guys back here. So they're going to really put these to the test. They're going to maximize aerodynamic stress at peak heating on those rear flaps during the re-entry phase. And hopefully all that goes well. So yeah, that's what we got going on here today. That's a long way of saying it. So it sounds like we might be waiting right now for a little bit for weather. Weather has been an issue. Let's try this fancy transition again. Let's see if it'll do it this time. Hup. Hey, all right. Look at that. Look at us being fancy. Okay, so here's our weather for today. It's this is out in Florida. We want to get down in here. We're currently looking at winds. What we really want to do is look at the radar, because this is our concern here today, right? Boca Chica down here in this region right there, and you can see all these storms here in the distance. So this is our current radar returns right now, and yeah, things are not looking great. If we kind of, let's see, can we fast forward it? Kind of show you what it's, oh, that's future radar. So let's see. Will it play? Play. Oh, well, maybe. Okay, well, we might get a different weather tool to show this. But anyways, that's kind of our big concern right now. We got storms in the area, and it's no good. I mean, we do have a hole right there, but we have to be able to keep that hole around for, the full basically hour of fueling. I mean, we can launch so long as we don't have lightning within 30 minutes of the launch time. We could launch in theory, but yeah, that's let's see. Here's our cloud coverage. So we do have clouds in the area, which is not great. Usually we're talking about wind speeds, but wind speeds are actually not that bad. They're only about 10, 12 miles per hour on the ground. What's that? 10 knots or 19 kilometers per hour. See if I can convert all that for all our metric folks. But yeah, really, radar coverage is the big thing. And you can see we've got some lightning strikes down here. I mean, it is still a distance away. We got some lightning up here towards the top. So in the distance, but yeah, still could. I forget what it's really got to be lightning in the immediate area. I think it's within 10 miles or so, but I don't recall what the exact distance is. But it's not just lightning, right? It's also just it can be the potential for lightning. So they're looking at the electric fields, the surface electric fields, to see if there's potential for lightning, not just is there lightning happening now. Because if there's potential for lightning, as we learned on Apollo 12, rockets can cause rocket-induced lightning. So you launch the rocket, the exhaust plume makes a really nice ionized path all the way down to the ground, and you can get basically a lightning bolt that wants to go through the rocket, down through the exhaust, and all the way down to the ground. So if you have that kind of electric potential, we can get rocket-induced lightning as well, even if the lightning itself is not happening at the pad at that moment. Same thing. So Greg asked the same kind of, it's kind of along the same purpose. What's the problem with clouds? I can understand upper level winds, precipitation, but clouds, yeah, it's the same kind of concept, right? And it depends on the type of cloud that you're going through, right? If you're launching through a layer of stratus clouds, no big deal. You can do that. You can punch a hole through stratus clouds, not a problem. It's your big cumulus clouds, right? Those are the big fluffy cotton ball like clouds. Big cumulus clouds, those have a lot more thermal energy to them, and that's where you can get rocket-induced lightning, is launching through big, thick cumulus clouds. So cumulus clouds is what we don't launch through. Stratus clouds, no problem. Stratus clouds are usually like flat layers of clouds. Cumulus clouds are the big buildups. They have a lot of vertical developments, a lot more energy potential in there. That's what thunderstorms are built in, is big cumulus clouds or cumulonimbus clouds. So those big cumulus clouds are what the concern is. So it's not all clouds. Not all clouds are created equal. All right, let's see what else people have got to say before I move on. Framrick's laughing at me. The toys are out. I got all the models out. I didn't break one yet. We'll see. T. Brookie said RIP ship number 36. That was the ship that blew up on the test stand at Massey's. That was a shame. There you go. Paul mentioned the SCE to aux, no problem. That's what eventually fixed the Apollo 12 problem. So if you don't recall, I have a video on this channel about it. But Apollo 12 launched, caused rocket-induced lightning. Whole bunch of systems went haywire, and there was a famous call to change SCE to aux, and that's what solved the problem there. Got a whole video about it if you want to check it out. All right, couple people reporting that maybe we're go for propellant loading. Let's check in. Oh yeah, I see it right there. SpaceX has announced the team is go for propellant loading. So that was 5 minutes ago. Propellant loading usually happens at T-minus 53 minutes, so we're in good shape. We should be starting that propellant loading here in about 6 minutes or so. They'll actually start fueling the vehicle. So thanks for that. Chris mentioned it there. I think I saw T. Brookie mention it as well. There you go, T. Brookie. I like this now. We're including sources. T. Brookie said we're go for propellant loading. SpaceX post. So now we got sources. We're on to something now. Now the question is, it's really going to come down to, is the weather going to hold out? Because that's going to be the big unknown factor. And then I expect SpaceX to go live. Oh, usually they're live like 30 to 45 minutes beforehand. So we maybe got 15, 20 minutes before SpaceX goes live. So if they do go live, somebody mention it to me so that I don't miss it. Let's see. Let's pull up what I want to pull up here. I'm going to pull up one of my aviation for weather maps, which is a little nicer than the weather map that I was just showing here before, because I think that's going to be the big thing that we're going to be concerned with is weather. Yeah, so this is exactly what I was thinking that I was going to see. So let me get this on the screen here. So here's an aviation weather map. This is, let's see. So this is showing a whole bunch of things here now. We've got some airports, airspace. We've got all our NOTAMs and stuff like that. So let's turn off. Let's see. We turn off a couple layers here. We can turn off. What can we turn off? Let's turn off our NOTAMs and TFRs. Turn off the flight category. Turn off PIREPs. And actually, let's turn off our airmets and sigmets just for a moment. And we'll even turn off all our airspaces and airways. We'll keep our roads. Okay, let's simplify this map here a little bit so you can get an idea of like what you're looking at, and then we'll start to add some of these things back, and you'll see what's going on. But anyway, so right here's all our weather that we were considering. What I like about this weather map here is this is actually showing the direction of these systems here. So we've got this one system out here by Brownsville, and it's got current lightning in it right now. A little bit of a yellow return there, but it's heading north, like northeast here. So it's not heading directly towards the launch site, which is over here. If we turn on, let's turn on our NOTAMs and TFRs. Actually, let's just do our TFRs for right now, because that's an easier one to look at. So here's our TFRs. These are temporary flight restrictions. This is basically no-fly zones. So it'll give you a real easy idea on where to find where the launch site is, because we've got right here is all our TFRs, active TFRs, basically from the surface to 99,900 feet. That's as high as it goes. So right here's it's basically surface to unlimited. That's what they call that. TFR that's down here. So this is all these systems are moving north. We've actually got, I don't know, we got a couple of systems that are going in weird directions here, but it's mostly trending northeast. I don't know what's going. I don't know where this guy's going. This one's kind of weird, or this system in the middle that's kind of shifting south. That's also kind of weird here. But all these systems out here that are close to the launch site are shifting northeast. So, and all right, so we've got that. Then we can even zoom out a little bit more. We turned on our NOTAMs. This is our notice to airmen. So this has a little more information for some of our airspace reservations. These are currently inactive, but they will go active at 7:30 p.m. So these are some other airspace considerations as well. You can kind of see that, which is kind of cool. And then we can turn on, let's see. We can turn on traffic here. We can even see air traffic. So we got a couple people out here at 45,000 feet. Those might be observation planes. We got another plane out here that's at 400 feet. That's interesting. Just outside the TFR, but we'll be inside the TFR soon. What was the other thing we were looking at? Oh, airmets. That's what I was going to show. All right, let's go back to here to airmets. So airmets and sigmets, those are basically like, the airmets and sigmets are like advisories to pilots on, airmets are like advisories to mostly to general aviation, small planes. Sigmets are significant weather. So that's like thunderstorms and things like that. So these red areas, these are sigmets. Those are significant weather events, generally thunderstorms, things, convective activity, stuff like that. So you can see where the SIGMETs are right now, which is the red areas, that they're basically saying like these red areas are currently seeing dangerous thunderstorm weather in the area. But interestingly, it doesn't include Boca Chica out here. It's not including the coast. Everything is staying west of the coast here. And so hopefully it stays that way and it's kind of trending that way. So usually these SIGMETs are for a long period of time. If I click on one, you can see this SIGMET lasts from 6:55 to 8:55. So they're kind of forecasting that this is Eastern time, 6:55 to 8:55 Eastern. So it's another like 2 hours basically that they're forecasting is going to be like this. So we might be okay if the weather stays like this, because it looks like it's mostly all moving north. So I think we're in good shape. So that's what we got going on. Anyways, all right, let's check in with a couple people. Maybe we'll answer some questions. We'll see what's going on. Ship fueling should be starting right now. And we should, if you're in person, you should see some venting going on. But let's see. Blackfoot Wolf says, how long will they wait until a weather window? I think we have, I think it's a 1 hour window today. Isn't that right? Is it a 1 hour window that we have? Now I forget. I think it's, oh, it might even be in here. I think it's a 1 hour window, right? Or is it a 2 hour window? Now I can't remember. Somebody might have to help me out. But anyways, they do have a launch window. Typically, they try not to start fueling the rocket unless they feel like they have a good chance of actually launching at 0. That said, Starship does have the ability to kind of hold the count and just wait for a little while. And they don't have to completely recycle. They can hold for a little while. If they start holding for, more than 5 minutes, then we're talking, they're probably looking at recycling because the fuel starts to warm up and stuff like that. So they can hold for a few minutes, but you get any more than like 5 minutes of holding, then they're probably we're talking recycle. It might recycle back to 15 minutes. They don't have to recycle all the way back to an hour. Might recycle for 15 minutes, but we are getting kind of late in the window here now. So we're already 30 minutes into the window because they've already pushed it back by 30 minutes. So something to keep in mind, we could run out of window to actually launch. Let's see. Oh, Random Elvis wants me to adjust my volume, so they were too loud. The advertisements are too loud, and I'm too quiet. I don't know if I can completely match that. I mean, I could just turn myself up. Here, we'll just increase my volume, or I'll try to talk louder. It's always hard for me to tell. I try to watch the meters here to keep myself right around like minus 15 or so. It's usually where I try to keep myself. But we'll give it a shot. We'll see if this thing... Sometimes I talk quiet. I try to get the microphone up real close so I don't have to yell, especially when I'm trying to talk for like 3 hours. We'll try that. I turned myself up just a little bit just to give it a try. All right. What else? Laughing at Time Waster's comment. ASMR. He likes the comment when I get the microphone real close and I can talk in a real deep voice, and we'll just turn the music off and you listen to me. I don't know. I don't really watch ASMR a lot, but don't they like click and snap and like? All right, that's enough. That's all I got. That's all the ASMR you're gonna get from me. That's like anybody wearing headphones is probably freaking out a little bit. All right. Graham, please don't do that. Please don't. You're freaking me out. All right, that's enough. Please, Martin says, as a sound person, please stop abusing the microphone. All right, treat microphones with respect. Got it. We'll settle it down. We're bringing this circus back around here. All right. Hey, Chris Purvis, thanks for becoming a member of the channel. Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for joining us here. Chris is jumping in, saying hello from Wichita, Kansas. Thanks, Chris. Hope you're doing well down there. Thanks for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. All right, where are we now? 48 minutes to launch. We should see SpaceX go live here. I would expect here in the next maybe 5-10 minutes. We'll be going live. So in case you missed it, this is the 10th flight for Starship. I'm feeling good about this one. I'm thinking maybe that we might, oh, there we go again. I'm thinking we might have a success once we launch. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about our prospects of actually launching today, but I think once we launch, this is going to be the one. This is the flight that we're actually going to have a success. Hopefully. We'll see. Shansam2 said, was there any additional info on the reason for the scrub yesterday? Yeah, it was a ground side scrub. They did say, I think it was an oxygen line that they scrubbed for. I can't remember. But it was a ground system scrub that, let's see, something to do with an oxygen line, I believe. I think they had an oxygen leak, right? Ground system issue. I want to say, now I'm trying to find the actual official word, but I'm pretty sure it was an oxygen, ground side oxygen leak of some sort, liquid oxygen leak. Now, of course, I can't find the official wording that they said. Maybe somebody could help me out with a source on that, but leak in it. Martin says O2 leak in a pipe on the ground units. Yep. They replaced the O2 line on the quick disconnect. There you go, from Brookie. I knew it was an oxygen line somewhere. Oh, looks like I just got a notification that maybe SpaceX is going live, so we might be able to turn them on here in just a minute. Let's see. Jamie wants to know, what's the list of things that they have improved for this flight? So, I mean, there's a couple things that they've improved or that they've changed, I guess. On the Super Heavy booster, I mean, one of the things that they changed was the reason we lost the Super Heavy booster as it came back, right? It delivered Starship to the suborbital trajectory. Then the booster was coming back. It was supposed to do a soft splashdown in the water on Flight 9. It did not. It exploded during the landing burn. And primarily that was because they were attempting to do this really dramatic high angle of attack, like 17-degree angle of attack coming in. They were really trying to push the limits and stress the Super Heavy booster. Turns out they stressed it too far. Propellant lines broke on the inside of the vehicle because of all the stresses of that high angle of attack, and then it exploded on landing burn. So what they fixed on that, they're just not going to do that again. They were trying to go a little extreme. They're not going to do that this time. They're just going to go back to their regular descent profile and try to do a soft water landing again today. They are going to test some engine out procedures. Right now with the booster, right? They've already demonstrated that they can catch the booster. So now they're trying to test these edge cases. Like, what happens if an engine fails? What happens if we come in a little steeper? What happens if this? So today's kind of experiment is testing an engine out scenario on the booster during landing. So that's one of the big things they're testing today. They're going to do the controlled flip again. They did that on Flight 9. Then Starship, the main objectives are the same as they've been for the last 3 missions, which is payload deployment, in space relight of the engines. We want to control descent. We've got some heat shield testing. We've got heat shield tiles removed in strategic areas. We've got some to kind of probe how those hotspots get handled. We've got one actively cooled heat shield tile to test whether that's a viable thing. They've got some smoothed and tapered edges on around the flap area, and then they're actually going to. We mentioned this before, but they're gonna try to stress these back flaps. They've adjusted the descent profile to really stress these back flaps as much as they can possibly stress them. So they're going to be under maximum load during the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure during re-entry, but they're trying to really stress those to the max today. Now, those things have all kind of been kind of or what they've been trying to test for the last 3 missions. So none of that is really new. The thing is, what's new with Starship is they've tried to make some adjustments based on the failure last time. So last time they made adjustments from 7 to 8 and from 8 to 9, and in each instance those adjustments were successful, but they keep running into new issues, unfortunately. So in Flight 9, in the nose cone area, there's not really a specific nose cone, but in the nose area of Starship, they had a leak, and so that overpressurized the nose cone area, and then because of that, they had venting that was more venting than they were expecting, and they ran into attitude control issues, and so that's kind of what caused the loss of the vehicle last time. So it was traced down to a fuel tank pressurization system diffuser is what they trace that down to, and they have tons and tons of engineering cameras on the inside of the vehicle. They just don't show us those. So they did kind of trace it down. They could see a visible failure on one of the fuel diffuser canisters, and that's kind of how they track it down and see how to fix it. So yeah, they used they're using a new design for that diffuser. They went through a pretty rigorous campaign to test it and putting it through flight-like stresses, and it reportedly survived more than 10 times the normal flight stresses this time around. So that's why we lost the Starship on Flight 9. And then, of course, we had Starship 36 that exploded on the launch pad. That was a COPV, composite overwrap pressure vessel that holds gaseous nitrogen. That exploded, and they just decided that they changed the way that they're inspecting those so they can detect any anomalies or deficiencies in the structure, but they're also not going to pressurize them as much. So there you go. There's where we're at. All right, let me get SpaceX up here. We'll listen in. Oh, Elon's on screen.
We want to be a multi-planet species to extend consciousness beyond Earth, I think, for 2 main reasons. One is to ensure the long-term survival and prosperity of life as we know it in consciousness, which, if we are a multi-planet species and ultimately a multistellar species out there among the stars, the probability of survival is much, much longer. That's kind of the, defensive aspect, or life insurance for life collectively. But then there also need to be things that are inspiring and exciting and that give you reason to live. Life cannot just be about solving one tragic problem after another. There must be also reasons to get up in the morning and be excited about the future. And a future where we are a spacefaring civilization is infinitely more exciting than one where we are not.
And we're doing it all pretty unique location. I mean, the pad's behind us. We got rocket on the tower. We got another tower with it. We're sitting inside Star Factory. And I mean, it wasn't like this for very long. This is all pretty brand new.
Yeah, I think we moved Starship here in about the early part of 2019. So we've been coming that entire time and seeing the site evolve from a double wide trailer and a tent where we built Starhopper to the first suborbital test flights. And now we have behind us 2 towers for the first time as we build towards the first operational flight from the second tower at the end of this year. And this beautiful building, 1,000,000 square feet, where we're able to work towards a production line of Starships.
Yeah, the SpaceX team has done an incredible job of building out really the most advanced rocket manufacturing facility that has ever existed. This is far beyond any rocket fabrication facility that has ever been built. This is essentially alien level technology, and it was all built here basically down by the Rio Grande River and close to the beach. It's an incredibly improbable location, and this used to be a sandbar. I think we're about, 3 feet or about a meter above sea level. It really was nothing. If you see the time lapse from sandbar to two launch towers and a gigantic rocket factory with high bays, and we're going to be building something called the Gigabay, which is like one of the largest enclosed volumes on Earth. So it's sort of like a gigantic Borg cube that we're going to be building here for building and storing these gigantic rockets. It's really spectacular, and anyone can come and visit. So because we're on a public highway and we're literally by a public beach, you can actually come and see the rocket. You quite close up. I mean, you can drive past it, and you can also look at the factory. And anyone can do this from anywhere in the world. So you can come and visit and check it out. So I think it's pretty cool that it's
Just not right now.
just not right.
Just not right
Obviously
now.
not when we're launching because there's some safety issues. But the rocket's often just
not right now.
sitting on the pad without any propellant in it, and then you can just come here and visit. It's very easy.
Yeah, I think it's a really special place.
It's pretty
just the way
wild
the
that he's
ship went down
basically
the road
encouraging.
behind
I mean,
us, and
not that there's a reason not to, but you don't hear that a lot from a lot of rocket executives. That he's basically encouraging people to come visit and come look up close to the rockets, which is pretty awesome. Like you don't hear that a lot from a lot of rocket executives. That's basically like, yeah, come get as close as you're allowed to get and see the factory, look into the factory, look at the rockets. That's pretty cool. I mean, he can't really stop people because it is right next to a public road, but pretty cool. I mean, I don't know how many people are watching. We got 300,000 people watching at least the SpaceX stream, and he's just announcing to everybody, yeah, come on down.
Even if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason. And that reason could be something cataclysmic, or it could be that that civilization simply subsided. There's always this debate throughout history of will civilization end with a bang or a whimper. But either way, if the critical thing is to get to the point where Mars is self-sustaining and can survive even if the resupply ships stop coming for any reason, which means that you need to build an entire base of industry on Mars in order for Mars to survive. For example, it's not simply enough to build a chip, like a computer chip factory, but you need the ability to build computer chip factories. So this is going to really take a lot of tonnage. I mean, my guess is at least 1 million tons to the surface of Mars, and maybe it takes less than that, but it's going to be a lot. But this is a very exciting future. It's one which will ensure the long-term survival and prosperity of life and consciousness, and it's the critical stepping stone to get from this solar system to other star systems, and perhaps go out there and explore, and perhaps we'll encounter alien civilizations that maybe they're alive now, or maybe they enjoyed a period of prosperity for millions of years, but also died out millions of years ago. So it's humbling to think of the age of the universe, according to the standard model of physics, being approximately 13.8 billion years old. So an incremental million years would be 3 digits past the decimal point. And if you look at, say, our civilization and measure our civilization by the first evidence of writing, which is about 5,500 years ago, civilization as measured from the first writing is only 1/millionth of Earth's existence.
Or blip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash in the pan so far.
Elon's getting
Well, we're getting some cool shots.
pretty
Rocket
deep
down on the pad
in
right
this
now.
in this conversation here.
People like come down, see it. It's hard to get like a sense of scale of just how massive this thing.
You can see, so when we're looking at the rocket here, you can start to see, because they're using that super cold liquid methane, liquid oxygen, you can start to see the frosting form, not frosting, the frost form. It'd be cool if it was covered in frosting, but it's covered in frost. This is not a live view, obviously, because there's people there, but when we go back to the live view, you can see the frost forming on the vehicle, and it'll really show you exactly how much fuel is in it. There we go. There's the live view. So you can see the frost forming on the outside, and you can really start to see how much fuel we have in the vehicle so far. Still got a ways to go, 33 minutes to go. Booster liquid oxygen just started fueling, so they start those at separate times. The ship starts first, which is why you can see there's more liquid oxygen in the star. Actually, no, you can't see it in the Starship, but you can see the booster fuel actually has more. That starts first. Then we've got liquid oxygen that comes up next. So yeah, we're getting a little bit closer. We've still got 32 minutes to go, but we want to make sure that we have no lightning coming up here after the 30-minute mark.
Is the heat shield, and then the core structure of the rocket is a special alloy of stainless steel, and that's where you see the sort of shiny silver parts are stainless steel. The reason for steel over aluminum is that the heat of atmospheric entry and the heat of the rocket engines is enough to easily melt aluminum, but steel is much more resilient against both ascent heating, but especially the reentry heating. And you don't have to paint it, which is actually very difficult to paint a large object that is going through cryogenic cycles and have the paint stay on. It's quite challenging.
And so we've talked about it. It's massive. It obviously takes a whole lot of energy to make that thing move. And that's where Raptor really starts to come in. Most advanced engine on the planet. Giant
yes.
lightsaber.
No, that's a lightsaber and a half. You would get vaporized in an instant if you were standing in front of Raptor. So, yeah, burnt to a crisp in less than a second. So in order to create a fully reusable orbital rocket, you have to advance the state of the art in every part of the rocket. That means the engines have to be better than any engine ever. The structure's got to be better than any structure ever. You've got to have a means of bringing the rocket back to the launch pad. You've got to have a fully reusable orbital heat shield, and that no one has ever made a fully reusable orbital heat shield. The space shuttle, for example, required 9 months of refurbishment between flights. So the space shuttle heat shield would come back essentially partially broken and would require many months of refurbishment in order to fly again. What we're trying to achieve here with Starship is to have a heat shield that can be flown immediately. So the ship, both the ship and the booster, would be caught by the tower arms, and the booster would be placed immediately back on the launch stand, and the ship's got to orbit Earth at least once, but then could be back potentially in one orbit, but in most cases several orbits. So the ship would come back several hours later, but then be caught by the arms and placed on top of the booster. You can also have multiple ships ready so that a single booster could service 5 or more ships, so that you could be flying the booster in theory, every hour. This is kind of a profoundly fast speed, obviously, for the largest flying object by far ever made. But it's the reason why we catch the booster with the tower arms, and the ship also will be caught with the tower arms, because that's the fastest way to get the booster and the ship back to flight. If we had instead put landing legs, which we have done before for the ship tests, we actually had landing legs that flipped down, and the ship we've successfully demonstrated landing with legs. But if you do that, if we were to do that with the booster and the ship here, we'd have to land somewhere else with the legs, then lift the rocket, stow the legs, transport the rocket back to the pad, which is very unwieldy when you've got a gigantic thing. Then it would be picked up by these tower arms and placed in the launch mount. That would delay the reusability dramatically and would add a lot of mass with the landing legs. So that's why we catch the rocket with the tower arms, because it's the same tower arms that put the rocket in the launch mount are used to catch the rocket. And that means that we can put the booster back in the launch mount in less than an hour after liftoff. In fact, the booster is going to come back very fast. Like, 5 or 6 minutes later, this booster is coming back one way or another, or not coming back. So then you really have propellant full time, which can be brought down to about 30, 40 minutes. And that means it is theoretically possible to fly the booster again in less than an hour.
I think
those catches are pretty wild. The first time I saw that catch was like, that's crazy to see. I mean, I can't believe they caught it the first try that they went for the catch, to be perfectly honest. I thought there was no way that they'd be able to catch that on the first try. I thought for sure something would go wrong. But yeah, first time they tried it, they caught it. So no catch today, though. Keep that in mind. They're not going to go for a catch today. Today is a soft water landing because they are intentionally testing these off nominal cases. So they're going to test an engine out procedure today. And they don't want to jeopardize the launch tower, right? That's expensive, takes time to build, would delay future flights if something happened to the launch tower. So they're just going to do a soft landing today. I mean, I think today, hopefully, if it launches here in 26 minutes, they really need a win today, right? We've had 3 flights in a row that have not been that successful. I mean, you could say that they're successful, I guess, because they are rooting out some issues with the vehicle and improving it and such, but they really need a success to take some bigger steps forward. Especially, I mean, one, we want to see the Starship program progress, and it really kind of feels stalled for the last 8 months, really. It doesn't feel like it's progressed much because of these missions, at least to the average person watching. They just feel like it's a repeat, the same mission over and over again now, 3-4 times in a row. So from a public relations standpoint, it'd be great to get a win. But also, every time they have one of these bigger anomalies, they got to go through an FAA investigation, which is on average taking about 2 months. And they can't rapidly launch the next one until they go through that investigation. And really, we need to start seeing some rapid iteration of Starship, especially if Starship is going to be used on Artemis 3 to take humans down to the surface of the moon. Remember, Artemis 3 is supposed to use SpaceX and the Starship as its human landing system to get astronauts to the surface of the moon. So, we're right now that's targeting 2027, which is not that far off. And if we start having too many of these delays, right? Like, I couldn't imagine putting people on the Starship right now. Doesn't really feel like it's ready for people. So we're only 2 years away from when they want to put people on it. We better start seeing some great success going forward. It'd be obviously I know they get data and every mission they're improving on, but yeah, I just feel like we feel like we've been stuck for a little while.
And we'll be adding to them over time, so you can see an evolution of.
Sean Sam wants to know: is the weather still 55% favorable? Yes, I haven't heard any other updates to that. They haven't really said what the weather board is right now. Usually they have a live weather board on how things are looking. They haven't really mentioned that I've heard yet. So not aware of any updates to that. Colin wants to know, what are your thoughts on nuking Mars? So to fill everybody in, Elon's got the Nuke Mars shirt. I have a Nuke Mars shirt. I think it's funny. But it's so the idea of nuking Mars basically is, to kind of turn Mars into a habitable environments by heating up the planets, specifically at the poles, so you can basically release some, the polar ice caps. You can release some gases, create an atmosphere on Mars, and, basically start to turn it into a habitable planet. I mean, it's cool in theory. There's a whole lot of problems. I mean, right? First of all, just launching a nuclear bomb into space is, not the greatest, idea, because, something goes wrong. You got a lot of radioactive debris that it could just spread around the whole world. So yeah, launching a nuclear bomb into space itself brings in some challenges, and then the number of nuclear bombs that you would need to actually do that would be a pretty large number. So that would be kind of, I mean, it's a cool theory. I just don't know if it's practical or actually could happen. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm distracted here a little bit because there's a drone flying around. Let me see if I can highlight it on the screen right here. Can't see it because my timeline's in the way. Right there's a drone flying around. You can see it buzzing away there. It was distracting me a little bit. Oh. It's kind of whipping around like crazy. I don't know. It was distracting. It was fun to watch. And it's gone. All right. Well, let's turn.
We will be landing ships on Mars in the future and building life on Mars, building greenhouses and life on Mars, and ensuring the long-term survival of life as we know it. And it's important to note here that obviously, we are effectively stewards of life here on Earth. That the other creatures cannot build spacecraft and get to other planets. So if there were to be a cataclysmic event, like a giant meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, or ultimately the sun will expand to envelop Earth and destroy all life, we know this is an undisputed fact. Then if we don't take life to another planet, life will be destroyed. So it's incumbent upon us to ensure that we do bring life to other planets and ensure the long-term survival of life as we know it on planet Earth.
And I mean, aside from that, there's so much that Starship unlocks by being able to do these things. Like, we'll be able to go to Mars, but there are other just transformational things by being able to take that many people, that much stuff to space for that much less money.
Yeah, I mean, I think like understanding our planet better, being able to move people around the planet, make it feel smaller and more accessible. You could go anywhere on the Earth, in less than 40 minutes, basically, in terms of flight time. So I really do see Starship as being this thing that can connect us, just like Starlink connects our information. This can connect us more physically.
Yeah. So there's really nothing faster.
I don't know what people's thoughts are on this. I mean, I love when Elon gets to talk about like technical stuff on the Starship, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe people feel like this when they're listening to me, but I feel like we're getting into like deep philosophical conversation here in the Starship launch. And it's almost like, I don't know, it feels too heavy for the moment right now. Is anybody else feeling this, or are people interested in this? I don't know. It feels like really heavy. Like I'm getting like sad listening to it. Although I should be excited, but I don't know. Yes, back to the rocket, says T Brookie. Yeah, I don't know. We're 19 minutes away. We'll see some excitement soon for sure.
You could say a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go check in on the rocket and get
Yeah,
our
there we go.
Back on console to hopefully the weather supports the launch tonight. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, thanks for your support.
Thanks for crashing, guys.
All right.
All right. Back to the rocket. Oh, we got rocket sounds. Pad sounds. I'm going to turn it up and then somebody's going to start talking.
All right, that was sweet. Let's turn our attention back to the rocket. So just checking in, we are about 19 minutes and change away from liftoff. As I said right at the top, weather is going to be our primary concern. We were tracking some anvil clouds. We're hopefully clearing that on the range soon. We are not currently tracking any hardware blockers to launch, but we'll continue to follow along. If anyone was following along yesterday, we actually didn't even get into our webcast as we had a leak on one of the hoses feeding the liquid oxygen into the ship through its quick disconnect. We were able to replace that this morning. Team did an incredible job, got us into an attempt today. All right, joining me now for the rest of the day is Amanda Lee. Hi, Amanda.
Thanks, Dan. I'm super excited to be here. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, a whole bunch has happened to get us to today's flight, our 10th flight test. Let's look back at Starship's 9th flight test in May. That did end with a rapid unscheduled disassembly on the ship and the booster.
Flight 9 marked the first reflight of a Super Heavy booster. We saw a successful stage separation and the first ever deterministic flip, which gives us extra performance. The reused booster was flown at a much higher angle of attack to push the envelope on capabilities, which ended up causing some internal structural failure, eventually leading to a rapid unscheduled disassembly at landing burn.
Yeah, ship continued its ascent. We did see pressure drop in its main fuel tank and rise in the nose cone. We just had a camera view. We actually caught the failure on camera in the fuel pressurization system. Ship was able to complete its ascent, though, achieved its planned velocity and second stage engine cutoff.
After that, though, we did run into some issues with attitude control, which led us to skipping the payload deploy and Raptor relight demos. Starship eventually re-entered the atmosphere in an off-nominal attitude, and communication was lost approximately 46 minutes into the flight test during entry, but of course not before one heck of a light show.
Yeah. That booster rud was caused by higher than predicted forces on its structure, specifically that internal fuel transfer tube, as we were doing a higher angle of attack experiment. To fix that for remaining flights with this version of the booster, including the one behind us, we're just going to lower that angle of attack. We're relaxing those forces, and that minimizes the likelihood of structural failure.
And over on the ship side, we redesigned the part of the fuel pressurization system that failed on Flight 9, put it through a more rigorous test campaign, and after subjecting it to flight-like stresses, it did successfully run for more than 10 times the expected service life with no damage, so great test results there. Our goal is always to make it through all of the objectives we set, but any result that teaches us more about Starship performing in the real-world environment helps us to make those targeted iterations and improve quickly.
Yeah, that's how SpaceX developed our first rocket, Falcon 1. That's the same philosophy we used to develop Falcon 9, which has passed 100 flights just this year and 500 flights overall.
Yeah, incredible milestone for Falcon, and again, the way they got there was to launch, learn, and repeat.
All right, so that wasn't the only thing that happened while getting ready for Flight 10. If you followed along, Ship 36, which was originally supposed to fly on Flight 10, experienced a major anomaly during a static fire test at our Massey's test site. It was in the process of loading all of its cryogenic propellant to do a 6-engine static fire when we had a sudden energetic event that resulted in the complete loss of the Starship, and we damaged the immediate area surrounding the stand out there at Massey's.
The most likely root cause was identified as undetectable or under-screen damage to a composite overwrapped pressure vessel, or COPV, in Starship's payload bay section. To address this probable cause, we're operating the COPVs on the ship at a lower pressure and also implemented additional proofs and inspection methods.
Meanwhile, though, keep our launch schedule up, got to keep testing. The team was able to pivot and use the launch pad, the one we're on today, to do ship static fire tests. It was the first time we've ever done that. Doing that retrofit was the fastest path to get back to launch. Team was able to engineer a solution where we used a transport ring to mount the ship, routed a whole bunch of extra hoses and everything to load propellants. They knocked that out in just a matter of weeks, where we had 2 static fires on the orbital mount.
Yeah, very impressive turnaround there, getting to these static fires. These static fires gave us the data we needed to progress to launch and are a prime example of our engineer and technician teams working to build creative solutions to keep us charging forward to eventually bring Starship online.
And even while doing all of this, we're in the process of rebuilding the test stand out at Massey's to get ready for the next generation of Starship, version 3. So right now, though, we are still on track We're looking about 14 minutes away. Again, our T0 is at 6:59 p.m. Central. While we still have a couple of moments, though, let's toss it over to Chris, who's getting ready to watch the launch out in California. How's it going, Chris?
Chris Gebert.
Hey, Dan and Amanda, it's going great, and welcome everyone to the Tesla Diner here in Hollywood, California. For the first ever public showing of a SpaceX webcast, it's been great to see the webcast up here on the big screens at the diner. You know, throughout the afternoon, we've had members of the public coming up, mixing and mingling, enjoying some of the food, getting to watch some old science fiction, but also getting to watch and keep up to date with what's happening here for Starship's 10th test flight. I think I can speak for everyone here when I say we're really looking forward to the epic views that we're going to get from in space and during atmospheric reentry, all thanks to Starlink. And speaking of Starlink, that's actually how we're coming to you live from the diner, relying on one of those many reliable connections that Starlink is able to put down across the Earth and in low Earth orbit. So for a little bit more information on the immediate future of the Starlink constellation, let's head on over to Hawthorne, where my colleague Tyler Lionquist is standing by. Tyler, how's it going there? And are you ready to see a rocket launch today?
We are definitely ready for a Starship launch here in Hawthorne. Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Lionquist and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Starlink is SpaceX's low Earth orbit high-speed internet that's bringing connectivity to places where you least expect it, including in space. For today's mission, Starship is outfitted with 4 Starlink terminals, allowing us to get live views of ship while in orbit and all the way down to splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington, and that's also where we monitor the health of our entire constellation. So let's take a quick look for more on Redmond.
All right, they're going to play some music here, so we're going to turn it down a little bit. We'll keep the images up so you can see what's going on, but I can't play their music, otherwise I'm going to get a copyright strike. Anyways, we're getting a little bit close to launch. Before we get too close to launch, I don't want to interrupt the actual launch procedures, but I got to do the YouTuber thing because I'm looking at our stats right now. I see we got about 585 people watching right now, but only 118 likes on the live stream on YouTube. So if you can, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps us out. I know you don't like to hear the YouTubers say, "Oh, you got to do the like and the subscribe and the taste," but we got to do it. I got to play the game, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't know what to say. I shouldn't even say that. That's just. It doesn't fit me. Anyways, yeah, maybe just click that like button. Help us out a little bit here. All of us here at the Space Lobster Nation.
Space Lobster. Space Lobster. Space Lobster. Space Lobster. Space Lobster.
Anyways, let's see what else we can check in with people on. Yeah, we're coming up. We've got only 11 minutes to go. Weather is really the big issue. We don't know. They had mentioned that there were some anvil clouds, right? Big concern is going to be launching through big anvil cumulus clouds. Anvil clouds in particular are developed thunderstorms. And so we don't want to launch through those. You can get rocket-induced lightning, things like that. So we're going to try... Hopefully, we'll see if the weather will cooperate, and we'll be able to launch here in about 10 minutes. Now, Starship does have the ability to hold briefly. They can't hold for super long, but they can hold briefly. They could recycle the count. There is another at least 30 minutes left in the window. I think maybe one of my moderators could help me out here with this. Is it 30 minutes to... Or, an hour launch window. I think it's an hour launch window today. Pretty sure it's an hour launch window, but we're already 30 minutes into it because they delayed it by 30 minutes. So we're 10 minutes away from that. Hopefully the weather can hold out and we'll get a launch. We'll see. And we really need a success. We need a success whenever it does go. We need a success. And thank you to everybody for clicking that like button. We went from 119 to over 220 now in just a couple of seconds. So we got 100 likes on the live stream in just a couple of seconds. So thanks for helping out and clicking that like button and doing the YouTuber thing to help out the YouTuber algorithms and the things. So yeah. Let's see. Can we get the Marco wants to start the go no go from everybody here. We'll do that here in just a minute. I want to get a little bit closer before we do the Space Lobster poll. We're watching right now on the screen. We're looking at the Starlink deploy, what they call the PEZ dispenser. Little door opens up there on the side, and they kind of just shoot the Starlink satellites out the side there. We're hoping to see 8 Starlink satellite mass simulators. They're not actual Starlink, but they're Starlink simulators that they're supposed to launch with the Starship and deploy with the Starship. They've been trying now for 3 missions on 7, 8, and 9. Haven't been able to do it. 4th time around. Hopefully we can get it today.
Any moment now, that's really the only thing blocking us at the moment. Vehicle's good, pads ready to go. All of our checkouts have been really smooth today after that repair work that we did this morning after we had to abort out yesterday. So
weather?
We're looking at the weather. That's the thing we're really paying attention to right now.
Meanwhile, prop load is still ongoing. We started loading prop at about T-minus 53 minutes, beginning with ship fuel, ship blocks, booster fuel, and finally booster locks began loading at about T-minus 35. We'll continue loading prop until just about 3 minutes before liftoff, and ship will conclude first, and then 30 seconds later, booster will finish up.
Yeah, so bottom line, we're looking great in the vehicle. We're looking really good on the range. We're just really watching that weather. So we're still waiting to hear that that's clear. That's the only thing that could potentially stop us today.
Okay, now let's talk about Mars, since everything we do is part of our foundational mission.
All right, I'm going to let them talk about Mars. I'm going to answer some questions here. Larry wants to know, what's your stance on Starship, design and all? Do you think it's the right ship to use? Is the catching system the best way to go? It's extremely fascinating. I do. I'm actually, and some people they call me like a Elon fanboy or something like that. I'm not an Elon fanboy, to be perfectly honest. There's lots of things I'm critical about for Elon, but I genuinely think, just from a science and technical standpoint, like Starship is a great design, right? In theory, it could be 100% reusable. The catch system, everything they're talking about with the rapid reusability, like this is the way to go, I think. It's definitely hard to get there, and we want to see more progress. We want to see it move along a little bit faster, but these things take time. This is a crazy idea. Nobody's tried this before. This 100% reusability. We didn't do that on Space Shuttle. And even the reusability on Space Shuttle was not even that great because it was super expensive. So, yeah, I love it. I think it's a great path to go. Yep.
As we just get closer and closer to building a self-sustaining.
Sorry, I thought they were giving us a weather update here. I wanted to jump in and check on that. If anybody hears a weather update, make sure I don't miss it. Also, not only, so going back to Starship, right? We're trying to get people to the moon, to Mars, all that kind of stuff, and reusability is a huge key for that. But just like satellite deployment and payload deployment, and the fact that you could send up a Starship with hundreds of Starlink satellites and deploy them all at once and then bring it back and then just do it again. Like it's going to be a lot less expensive to, in the long run, assuming we can get this working at some point soon here. So, let's see. Cristiano says, hi, Tori. Good to see you again. Hello from Manaus City in Amazon, Brazil. Does that beard have a purpose, or is it freeloading on your face? No, the beard this is my summer beard. This is my thing the last couple of summers, as I grow a beard in the summer. My job doesn't let me have a beard in the winter. It's a long story, but yeah, I like the beard look, to be perfectly honest. I would stick with this all year long, but yeah, I can't have it in the winter, but I do have it in the summertime, and so this is my summer beard, which has got about a little less than a month left before it goes away. All right, we're under 5 minutes. We don't know if the weather's any good. We're hoping. The clock is still running.
Back into the prop farm and just prepare the area around it. We're doing our final guidance and navigation checks right now. The automated flight safety system is about to get armed. We're just really preparing the vehicle to get ready to go. I'm not sure if we passed it already, but we do a final thrust vector control checkout. The TVC will wiggle the engines that we use to actually steer the rocket itself. Everybody's favorite topic, if we need to hold. that hold would come at T minus 40 seconds. We can hold if we're still waiting for the weather to clear, which is our big item today, or if any other last minute issues pop up. We'll only hold there if we have an issue. Still waiting to hear confirmation that the weather has cleared. That's the only thing it looks like would hold us today. Here's the business end of a Super Heavy.
Now, once we pass that T-minus 40-second mark that Dan was talking about, a number of events are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems come up to flight pressure, and ship will switch over to internal power. After that, the quick disconnect arm lockout is removed in preparation for retraction, which occurs shortly after T0. And once we pass that T-minus 40-second mark, we do still have the ability to then recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened, and if we can proceed again back to liftoff.
Yeah, we hope that
Ship
doesn't
is fully
happen,
fueled.
but it has previously. I promise not to psych anybody this time. We do have some kind of points of no return. Once the water starts flowing out of that flame deflector under the launch mount, that happens just a little after T-minus 10 seconds. If that triggers and then we hit a hold, that would be a scrub for the day. We have to refill the water tanks, can't turn it off, got to refill prop, all that stuff. So that's kind of the major watch item. You'll see a big splash under the launch.
All right, we're under 3 minutes. I'll give it to you now. Here we go. Let's see. Where's my buttons? Oh. Oh, that didn't work. Oh.
There we go. Space Lobster Nation, this is Space Lobster Control. Give me a go, no go in chat for Starship flight number 10 here. Go, no go in chat. Let's go.
All right, let's see.
We are closing out prop load right now, though.
Oh, he said red on the weather.
Yeah, as we wait and hear what's going on, we can just quickly review some of the test objectives for today. On the booster side, we're of course hoping.
Well, that's
for
not good. They
all
said
53 of those
everybody's go in chat, but yeah, he just said they're red for weather right now.
Booster will perform that directional flip before the boost back burn. One of the interesting
Our amazing moderator Anita reporting that we're 30% go according to the NSF app, but we're approaching a minute and a half here. We're still red on the weather. Uh-oh. Christy girl with a no-go in chat. Cheryl with a no-go in chat. Couple people with no-goes in chat. I don't think I've ever had a no-go in chat. Does this have to be unanimous? I've never run into this scenario before. I don't know if our Space Lobster Nation is go.
-40 to see if we can clear that anvil cloud roll. That's the one blocker we currently have to a launch today.
So we might get a hold here at the 40-second mark if we haven't cleared that anvil cloud rule.
All right, and we did just get confirmation, so we are expecting to hold at T-minus 40. We are still red on the range for weather, so look for the clock to pause in just a couple seconds. And pause. So we'll hang out here for a couple of minutes. We do have until the end of the window. We won't have 30 minutes of hold time to hang out, as we're essentially not replenishing prop on the vehicle at this point, so we have to keep a close eye on things like temperatures inside the tanks. We can only hold for so many minutes before things start to warm up. Surprised it's hot in South Texas. So
listen, I'm going to say one thing here. I hate when they hold at this point because my countdown clock that's down the left-hand side of your screen there was not designed for these. Uh-oh. Oh, we lost. I see that we dropped out for a second. Our stream dropped out. Hopefully we're back. I've got an alert that the stream dropped out. Live stream failure there for a minute. I suspect maybe I've got some thunderstorms in my area here right now, and our power was flickering earlier today. Hopefully this would be terrible timing for the thunderstorms in my area here right now, and our power was flickering earlier today. Hopefully this would be terrible timing for the thunderstorms in my area here right now, and our power was flickering earlier today. Hopefully this would be terrible timing for the thunderstorms in my area here right now, and our power was flickering earlier today. Hopefully this would be terrible timing for the live stream to go down.
So we are expecting an update in a couple. And teams looking at it again. We're just tracking this anvil rule still. It's our only blocker today. Range is green, vehicle is green, weather is currently red. All right, and sad voice coming in.
No.
We did just hear that we are still going to be red. So at this point, we are essentially transitioning this to be a wet dress. So wet dress is when we fully load prop on board the rocket. So we are going to see the clock probably start up again, but once they get down to 10 seconds, they're going to abort out, and then we will be done for the day. So sad news, not going to launch today. Weather got in our way, but you can only control so much. Can't always control the weather. Can't control the weather. I wish we could control the weather. We're not there yet.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? So we are seeing the clock rolling, but again, we're going to get down to T-minus 10 seconds, and we're going to see that kick back out, and then we're going to start offloading all of the propellant that's on board the rocket today. So if you are just tuning in, yeah, it's not going. There it goes. Back to T-minus 40. So again, we essentially turned today into a wet dress, so today still ended up being a test.
Still learning something as always.
Yeah, still learning something. We were able to fix the issue that kind of bit us yesterday, where we had a leaky hose that was feeding liquid oxygen into the ship, but we were able to fix that, but weather got us today. So no launch today. We do have a phenomenal logistics team, though, so we should hopefully be able to replenish prop, everything. We don't have to refill all the water tanks because we didn't fire off the deflector, but we'll have to reload the prop. So very good chance that we can try again tomorrow. We'll obviously update everybody online. And, yeah, man, sorry, we couldn't go today. Don't worry, we'll probably go tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you when we do go for launch.
So obviously, follow our account on X at SpaceX. We'll share information as soon as it comes available. We'll also be updating the web at spacex.com. So thanks for joining us today. Exciting countdown. Weren't able to get off the ground, but we'll give it another shot tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it. We scrubbed for today, and it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Well, that was a big bummer. We got all the way down to T-minus 40 seconds. Probably a good thing. I don't know what happened to my internet connection there right at launch time. My goodness. I'm going to hook up my Starlink as a backup for tomorrow. I have Starlink. It's just not connected. I use it when if I have to travel somewhere, but maybe I hook it up as a backup and stream off of Starlink tomorrow. Oh, anyways, well, I guess it's no-go for today. We tried, but we're going to have to give it another shot. There you go. Heather Michael said, storm that rolled through Rochester right before shook the whole house. Yeah, well, that's where I am. I'm in Rochester, New York, so that's, I know we got some thunderstorms in the area. I'm kind of, my studio is kind of cut off from the world here, so I don't really know what's happening out there, but I suspect maybe that's why I dropped frames there for a little while, but anyway, oh yeah, there you go. Anita says storm cloud is right above your area right now. Well, that's probably why I was dropping frames. Okay, well, that's a shame. No launch for today. Hey, thanks, Paul Sadu, for the super chats. Appreciate that, Paul. Paul's a regular around here. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry we didn't get a launch today. That was a bummer. I feel like maybe there was another super chat. Oh, from Bernie. Bernie Q sent over a super chat during our Go No Go poll. Thank you very much, Bernie, for the super chat. Bernie with the triple goes. It wasn't enough. Wasn't enough, Bernie. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, Rochester, the home of Kodak. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hopefully tomorrow, says Shunt Sam. Yep, we're hoping for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be good. I'm hoping we don't push to Wednesday because I cannot cover it if they push to Wednesday. So we can do tomorrow. I cannot do Wednesday. So, all right. Well, it was fun watching the rocket do the rocket things, and now we're done. So I guess I'll wrap it up from here. Before you leave, maybe consider clicking that like button one more time before you jump out of here. It might be too late for that already because I'm just looking at the stats of the viewers that in the last 1 minute just crater. Everybody booked it. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up and hopefully we'll give it another try tomorrow. And we'll see if this works out here. Robert, throwing in an extra super chat here last minute. Thank you very much, Robert. There are a lot of people broadcasting, but you are my go-to guy for Starship launch video. Well, thanks, Robert. Appreciate that. Yeah, I got a lot of friends. I love that there's lots of people streaming. Hopefully you can, pay a visit to all your favorite streamers. I'm friends with a lot of them, so yeah, much love. Appreciate it. Thanks for checking in with us, Robert, and appreciate the kind words. All right, well, continue the conversation over on Discord with our like-minded space people. Other than that, I'm going to wrap it up here, and maybe I'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll try it again. Maybe the third time's the charm on the fourth flight. The fourth time's the charm, but the third time's the charm for the launch for the fourth, and the fourth time's the charm for the ship that's doing the launch. And you know what I'm trying to say. I hope it launches tomorrow and it's going to be successful. All right. That's what we want. All right. Now I'm just stalling. That's it for me. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody. Goodbye.